Good morning and good afternoon, good evening. Welcome. This is DJ here, hands-on SAP Dev with Q Macro. We're streaming live. Good morning. Oh, that's really small, isn't it? What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this. Where is it? Put this so I can see it. Perfect. Pritam, good morning. Leo, who was just in the room over there. Good morning, Leo. Good morning, Srikanth. Great to have you all here. I'm going to take one of these pieces out of my ear. We're broadcasting live from AOK Systems in Frankfurt, and we're running a couple of events here in parallel today, and I've got a special guest with me. No. Why is that that way? Oh, no, actually, no. I suppose I've no idea where you're going to be. So I'm going to bring in Riley Rainey from SAP Developer Relations as well. Say hi, Riley.
Hey there.
Hey, Napit, good morning. Oh, Pierre, you've just subscribed. That's amazing. You've just subscribed. Thank you very much. That's awesome with Twitch Prime. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. I got a little in my ear, which is through Streamlabs. Obviously, Riley didn't hear it. So, welcome, Riley. Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself? And oh, by the way, let me know if you can't hear anything. Tell us about yourself, and also tell us about what's happening here today.
Oh, hey. Well, so of course I'm part of developer relations exactly like DJ is. I spend time sort of keeping everybody moving in the right direction, but other than that, keeping technologies and all the relevant new things that are coming up in front of the evangelists so that they can keep things moving along for our community. Today we're at AOK, as DJ said, and actually have two code jams. Anybody who's not familiar with our code jams, we actually run through sponsorship.
Just microphone there.
Okay, yeah. Different partners and SAP customers will often sponsor these events, provide the facilities. Folks like DJ and the rest of our team, our evangelism team is roughly 8 people spread out across Europe and North America. But we come and talk about all sorts of topics that are relevant to new things and exciting things happening with SAP. So today, DJ's actually running a code jam for about 25 people on the subject of cloud application programming model for Node, oddly enough. And then we also have a session on ABAP in the cloud. So, and another 25 people attending that session. Those are running all the time, all over the world. Our 8 evangelists are often driving those events, so we're spread out all over. Whoever's hosting us provides the coffee, and we provide all the technology. So,
and we're talking of coffee. We have coffee here in beautiful AOK Systems. I'm going to tip it over just slightly. You can see the logo there. Wonderful reception. Thanks to Tobias, who set me up this morning for the live stream here with Riley, and of course to Hendrik, and thank you very much. To Hendrik and to Christian, organisers of today and also tomorrow, Inside Track. Also, thank you to Antonio Del Negro, who brought us all some wonderful Berliners. So I'm going to eat that while I'm doing the live stream, and probably get the powder sugar all over the keyboard, but I don't care because I don't like this keyboard anyway. So yeah, Riley, thank you very much for saying hello. Hopefully my 2 colleagues, Maxi and Marius, should be here shortly. They may pop in, or in fact I might send Riley out to push them in through the door so they can come and say hello. Because hopefully I'm going to get Maxi, and this is a call out to you, Maxi, get Maxi to come on this live stream maybe next week, maybe the week after, and show us some cool stuff with Cap and Java. So there we go. So yeah, thanks for joining us, Riley.
I'll go get the guys.
Go and get the guys and push them in. And so actually, in other news, so we're sitting here in Frankfurt, and Antonio did also tell me that I was worried about the Wi-Fi and was it going to be fast enough and everything. But looking at the Twitch stats, the stream looks really healthy, and that's because. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Leo. Leo's going to send them in when he sees them as well. Perfect. Round them up. This is one of the major internet nodes in Germany, here in Frankfurt. So we've got a big fat pipe. So hopefully you should be seeing me okay. And what else? Oh, yes. one thing that was announced, talking of Java and talking of Node.js, one of the sort of the complementary toolkits, or almost like the sibling of the application programming model, is the S4 SDK, the S4 HANA Software Development Kit. And I saw it was just announced by Henning Heidkutter. Where's my browser? In fact, I'll bring that up now. I'll just switch now to the normal main scene. There we go. Oh, now that main scene there. Let me just move this stream chat. I've still not quite got this. Obviously I'm broadcasting from my laptop again, but I've just messed up that. There we go. Let's make that a little bit smaller again. Let's see. This is all by the skin of my teeth. Perfect. You can probably see that. Inception. Yes, it's when you're using OBS, you sort of get used to this. But now I can sort of lock that back into place. I can minimize that, so we're not seeing that anymore. We're not seeing that sort of inception thing. I'm going to make this small over there. That's better. Okay, perfect. This is the matrix. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Robert. Good morning, Christian. Great to see you on here. And good morning, Ronnie, as well. Yes, so announcing the SAP S4 HANA SDK, Cloud SDK for JavaScript 1.0.0. So this has been something that's been sort of, being built up over the last few months. Of course, the S4 HANA SDK, Cloud SDK Java flavor has been out for a while. But it's great to see the SDK available for Node.js. Good morning, Arpanil. Good morning. I'm just drinking my coffee. I'm going to take a bite of this Berliner. I might regret it, but as in regret it because I'm trying to speak, not regret it because it's not very nice. Actually, I'm regretting it because it's really sticky, but I do have a tissue here. So, what else is new? I think that's it really, as far as news is concerned. It's great to see you all here. So today, we're going to finish a little bit early. We're going to finish about 10 to the hour, or in 50 minutes time, because I'm in the room here, and I'm looking out on the classroom, which is where the people are going to be doing the Capco Jam are going to be doing it with us. Yes, Ronnie, in fact, I did say if it goes on the keyboard and messes it up, I don't care because I hate this keyboard. I did think of bringing my brand new An Pro 2 with me, but I didn't have a case for it to protect it, and it's quite heavy as well. I need to sort out a different system for when I'm live streaming from the laptop. So, and also, by the way, as I get my excuses in early, I've sort of started to remap some of the keys to make use of, or to be able to use this 60% keyboard better. That's really wonderful. But that means also the remapping as applied to this MacBook Pro keyboard, sort of. So, it's even worse than usual. But we'll get there. Okay. So, yeah, we've got a little bit less time than normal. I wanted to start out by highlighting that, in fact, if we look at, where are we going here? If we look at, we need a new thing. There we go. Let's make that big. In fact, I will make it, I will make it that size. Yeah, let's do that for now. By the way, there's the slides ready for, well, the introductory sort of title slide ready to start, kick the code jam off. If we look, npm info SAP CDS, let me know, of course, if this is not big enough. But if we look at the latest information for the SAP CDS module, we will see that since we spoke about it last time, it's been updated. It's now 3.7.1. I was going to take us through the changelog, but actually, in terms of major changes that we can have a look at and play with, there aren't that many. More interestingly, Mark, you can't see, what can you not see, by the way? Let me know what you can't see. Let me go to there. If you can let me know, Mark, what you can't. Oh, you can. You still see the browser. Okay. It's all okay. So Mark, maybe the stream is a little bit slow for you, and maybe out of sync with the audio. I'm not sure. Christian and Robert and Nabheet seem to be okay. So I'm gonna proceed, assuming it's okay. Sorry, Mark, for sort of leaving you out, but let me know how it goes. You should be seeing the terminal right now, and so what we've got here is SAP CDS 3.7.1. Now, I've deliberately not upgraded, or rather, I didn't deliberately not upgrade, but I didn't notice it got a new version. However, I was working on the material for the code jam this week. I was working on it on Monday, for example, and I suddenly noticed 3.7.1. And I just want to explore a little bit with you 3.7.1 versus the previous version, 3.5.2, and the fact that you may also see this. It's a little bit weird, but I think I've figured out what's going on. If I, from my home directory, say CDS V for CDS version, we can see we've got SAP CDS 3.5.2, okay, which is all good. Now, I was working on a CDS cap project, and I did a CDS version by mistake in the project, and it said 3.7.1. I thought, has NPM automatically updated SAP CDS for me? And of course, the answer is, okay, you're on low latency mode. Now, I got a message in Twitch saying something to do with, you've now got access to this low latency mode. I sort of clicked through it by mistake and didn't manage to read it again. I've not looked it up since. I wasn't sure what that was. Okay, thanks for letting me know, Mark. That's good to know. That means I'll look into that a little bit more when I get some time. Hey, morning, Helmut. That's okay. We've just started. I'm broadcasting here from our car systems in Frankfurt, where we're going to do a code jam on CAP today and Inside Track tomorrow. We're just talking about my CDS version 3.5.2. Now, if I say CDS, let me go to the temp directory. And if I say CDS init, just a normal CDS init, and I'll say AOK, for example. Let's just do that. Create a new project in directory AOK. It's doing some NPN stuff, which is quite significant here. Project creation was successful. So if we now, just CDS version again, just before we go into this, we've got 3.5.2. If we go into that directory and do a CDS version, clear screen, 3.7.1. So first of all, I saw this, I was thinking, well, what the heck is going on? Now, I've been looking through a lot of the source code for the SAP CDS module and its sort of related modules that you can see here. Partly because I'm interested and it's a lot to learn from, but partly because my talk tomorrow is about some various ES6 aspects of JavaScript that you find round and about, and a lot of stuff. The CDS modules are written in a beautiful, I think, a really interesting style, beautiful style, where I can learn a lot from. Anyway, I was looking through there, and I noticed that there's this feature, and I'm sure I've seen it documented somewhere. There's a feature where when you run CDS, it will try and run a CDS locally if it can, which is the reason why, long story short, we're seeing this. But I wanted to dig into this a little bit, and also have a little play around with debugging Node.js a different way, not using Code.js, but looking at it from a different angle. So if we, when I run CDS, okay, CDS V, what am I running? So we can use which CDS to have a look at which executable, or I think executable is a better word to use than binary, because of course this is not binary, it's JavaScript, it's plain text. So which executable this is? And it's an executable in .nvm versions node 8.12.0 bin CDS. Now that tells me, that reminds me, and if we look back to episode 1, the second episode of this series, where we installed SAP CDS. Oh, my phone's ringing. Oh, it's Michelle. There you go. But I won't answer it because I'm on a live stream. Do you think she should remember by now and do it? Well, maybe she's assuming I'm not being silly and doing a live stream before a code jam. But anyway, I'll call her back. So if we remember back to episode 1, we installed SAP CS globally. And globally means, in my case, and if you follow this as well in your case, in an NVM node version manager managed place, which is a location in my home directory /user/i347491. Good morning, Expo Code. Great to see you. Thanks for joining the live stream. And that is really nice because NVM sort of prevents you having to hack around with sudo install, sudo npm install, blah blah blah, which installs it into a root only, administrator only access directory somewhere on your box. You don't really want that. It just gives me a bad feeling. So the fact that which CDS tells me it's here tells me it's the globally installed one. If we have a look what that is, okay, file, which CDS, can we do that? Yes, we can. In fact, remember on Twitter the other day, I found a way, that's one way of doing it. We can say file and then the output of calling, that's the backticks there. If you want to do it a different way, and the reason I came to this is because I've got this keyboard and it's hard to use the backtick at the moment because I haven't mapped it correctly because it's only a 60% keyboard. You can also do file and then call it on the result of executing the previous command. So in fact, oops, if I do, for example, which CDS, if I do that, it'll execute that again. So, and if I do that, it will execute that. So which CDS gives me the fully qualified path name of the CDS executable. And if I run that with $brackets, it will run that fully qualified path thing. It's a little bit, this is also a little bit inception. But if I then, so in which CDS like that, and I can then do file, run which CDS, so what type of file is that? And we can see it's a user bin env node script ASCII text. This is why I'm calling it an executable rather than a binary. Okay, so if we say ls-l dot nvm versions node 8.2 bin CDS, we will see that actually, while file is telling us the correct information, what it doesn't know at a directory level, that actually the CDS file is a symbolic link to the real cds.js, and so we see that's the user bin env node script. Anyway, why are we looking at this? Because it's definitely worth a look at what this is. So let's go to, hey, Maxi. In fact, before we go here, I have a super special guest, Maxi Streifeneder. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everybody.
So here's the microphone.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning. Actually, let me just move to the OBS so we can see whether you're on camera or not.
Doesn't matter.
No, it does matter because you're a very handsome person. There we go. That's perfect. So hold that and just say hello and tell us what.
Hey, good morning. What I'm doing, necessarily just doing the code jam today.
Yes, we are.
Or just, it's actually your code jam.
It's our code jam. It is. So we've got Maxi. We've also got Marius. I'm not sure where Marius is, but it doesn't matter. We're starting at the top of the hour, so that's why I've got to finish a little bit early. But also, just before you came in, I did mention that we were talking last night about Cap and Java, and we're going to get you on at some stage with me.
Okay. All right.
To talk about Cap and Java. So if folks, if you're interested in Cap and Java, let us know on the chat here. Let us know on Twitch, on the other thing beginning with TW and I, Twitter, and we'll see. So thanks for popping in and saying hello.
See you soon.
See you soon. I was going to drink some coffee, but I haven't done any.
If you need some, just tell me.
I'm good, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm not going to eat any more of this Berliner because it went everywhere. So there we go. Back to what we were looking at. Bye. See you soon. Back to my main laptop. And let me minimize that. Java for the win. Oh, yes. Oh, good morning. Oh, he's gone now. Ankit, I will say good morning from you. Well, Christian, there's going to be another time. SAP Inside Track Frankfurt is always great, as are all SAP Inside Tracks. But there's always next year. There's always next year. Anyway, let's have a look inside of the CDS binary, basically the sort of the entry point, because this tells us some quite interesting things. So if I NVM versions node SAP CD. Oops. See if I do an there we go. That I can do the. Where is it? Versions. Oh yeah, bin. Actually, we'll go there. Bin CDS. There we go. There it is. Yes, we will. We will miss you, Christian. And here's Marius. Hello, Marius. Come and say hello as well. This is a slightly exciting and random live stream. Let me go back to OBS and go back to the video and chat. Marius, just say hi and tell us what you're doing here.
Hello. I think Maxi was already here, so I'm basically also supporting DJ in the code jam later about the CAP, Cloud Application Programming Model. But I think if you're following DJ's live stream, you probably know everything that there is to it, or?
Well, we're covering. We're leading the way here. You're leading the way on this live stream. All the live stream participants are great. So yeah.
Awesome. And I have a gift for you. Right?
Oh yes. Oh, a surprise for me, or maybe it's a surprise for you. Whoa! Thank you. So these have come a long way from Waldorf and everything. So we have. I'm not sure you can see them or not. Well, obviously they're sort of white. So they stick out on the background of your laptop. Thanks, Marius. Oh, yeah, there you go. Oh, perfect, yes. So here's Marius demonstrating. Here's one we prepared earlier. The shiny, yeah, shiny. There we go. I'll read it out. It says SAP Cloud Application Programming Model, and I've got quite a few of them. So thanks, Marius. See you shortly. So Binku, thank you for following. That's really great. Thank you very much for following. So let me know on the chat or via a Twitter direct message or on a whisper on Twitch. Send me information as to what your address is if you want me to post one or two of these to you. I've posted I did have a few of these. I've posted some of these to a couple of people, but not very many. So yeah, let me know. Usual channel. Great. Okay, so let me go back down there. Yep, Robert, you got one. Yeah, Ronnie needs stickers. So I'll bring some, Ronnie, to the SAP Inside Track Oslo as well. I've got some more sapdevelopers.com stickers. More stickers. Always need stickers. Anyway, so this is the entry point to the CDS executable. And if we can see here, I'm going to make this, I'm going to assume this is large enough. If we can see here, what it does is, in this comment here, Bootstrap, try to find a locally installed CDS, otherwise launch this one. So I thought, why don't we try and debug this and see what's happening? What it's got here is, this obviously the shortcuts is a little map, associating these sort of single letter commands with the actual commands that you can run with CDS, CDS build, CDS compile, CDS deploy, and everything. And then it goes through this sort of bootstrap thing to load the quote-unquote most appropriate CDS library, or the heart of CDS engine, let's call it. And then it fires up main, okay? As you can see here on the bottom, there's main. And main down here, what we'll do, while we're here, we'll just add a console.log. This is what I love about sort of scripting languages as well. I can just hack in some stuff, and there's no compile step or anything, and I can remove it later. Console.log, we are in the global main. Okay. By the way, I've also mapped in Vim. This is one for you, Srikanth. I'm starting to use JK as escape now for very many reasons, including the fact that there's no escape key on this MacBook Pro keyboard. It's that stupid little thing on the touch bar, which is not a key at all. So I've mapped JK as escape, which is quite cool. So we're going to do that, but the most exciting thing, I guess, is how we're going to start debugging this. And what we'll do is we'll use the node inspector to start it up. So if we say, yeah, okay, why don't we do this? Let's go back to here, to the home directory. Let's go out of AOK and go to the home directory and say node minus inspect inspect break. Inspect will start the inspector and then start execution, only stopping on an assumed breakpoint that it's assumed you've put in. But I haven't put any breakpoints in. So you can say node -- inspect break to say start the inspector and stop straight away. Okay, which is really helpful. And then all I need to do is specify the path to the binary. I suppose I could do this, couldn't I? Where's the backtick here? Which CDS? Let's try that. That might work. Yes. Okay. Cool. And you can see that the output of, in fact, let's Control-C that for a second. If I say node, go to the clear screen, node which CDS, we saw that before, I think, did we? It actually just runs CDS, right? It's like saying node execute, the contents of that file. So if now I say inspect break CDS, it says debugger listening on a WebSocket. And if you read that documentation there, it will tell you that one of the things you can do is attach a really friendly, well-known debugger to it, which is in the form of the Chrome developer tools. How cool is that? So what I'll do is I'll open up Chrome here. I will move that here. Ooh, not that one. There we go. I will move that to the right over here, and Chrome inspect. That tells you all sorts of different things. You can debug USB connected devices and so on. But we've got a remote target here, a node target, as we can see from this little node. I think that's a node logo. And it tells us, in fact, if I Control-C that, let's do that, kill that, it's gone. So we know that I'm pointing at the screen with my finger. I should stop doing it. We know that this thing here is exactly this thing. So why don't I make that also like that and do that again. Oops. There we go. Run that. That starts up. And now we can inspect. And as if by magic, we're now inside the cds.js. And it's the cds.js that's in it's the globally installed cds.js. So let's go down here now and maybe put a breakpoint here. So I'm going to use the buttons here on my keyboard because you're going to see what I'm doing. Resume execution, and of course you're going to stop on the next breakpoint. And so we've got this require local, which is a utility in libutils, which is part of the CDS package. And if we have a look at that, let's open up a new tab here and go into NVM versions, and look at that, bin CDS, oops, not that one, sorry, CDS include lib node modules SAP CDS. There we go. Is it in libutils? Yeah, require local. There it is there. This basically, we're not going to go through this, but this basically tries to load a local version of the module that's specified. Okay, so that's that. Let's get out of there again. So what it does is it tries to assign to _main a local SAP CDS bin CDS module. and require local takes also a an alternative else main. In fact, well, I won't edit the thing again. So basically, try and load a local SAP CDS bin, CDS engine, and if you can't, then just sort of fall back to main, which is down here. And this is the one we edited to add this console.log. So why don't we try that? Let's go to, can we do anything else here? Well, actually, we'll just jump over that one. Oh, and that's it. So now, let's kill that. We are in the global main. Okay, so if we now do the same thing, if we go into temp AOK, where we've got CDS version 3.7.1, if we say CDS version now, we are in the global main. Okay, let's just do that again. Node inspect which CDS. Let's get rid of that. There it is. Require local. Oh yeah, let's jump into that. Let's go down there. Let's jump into that and try ID. Yep. Okay. Bong. Yeah. Okay. So it's not errored here. So we've managed to resolve. Where are we? This thing here, this ID here, which is that one. So it's managed to successfully require or resolve the SAP CDS bin CDS.js engine from the local node modules directory within our local project. So that's quite good. So that's why we get this strange difference between the global version and the local version. Notice here we didn't have that. This is the global main. So there we go. I think I'll leave the installation of, or the upgrade of CDS to 3.7.1 till another time, or I'll just do that at home. There's no point in doing that sort of on the live stream, I don't think. So there we go. So that explains. That was a little bit of a what, but I'm hoping that we've figured that out as to what's happening there. So it's quite cool. So you can have different versions of CDS installed. Okay, so next meeting is waiting. Okay, thanks for joining, Mark. So yeah, Fabian, CDS run is still not documented. It is I think it's a shortcut or a convenience or a syntactic sugar. You're right, it's not documented, even though it's in a lot of the examples. In fact, I did think about that when I was writing the content for this code jam. And instead of saying use CDS run, I'm saying use CDS serve SRV or CDS serve all, which is, so I think CDS run is maybe a shortcut for CDS serve all. I'm not sure whether CDS run is going to eventually disappear. So beware. But CDS run, CDS serve all is the official correct thing. Snappy, this is super cool. I was trying to understand via console log the flow. This is great. Okay, so yeah, I mean, and also hopefully that sort of node inspect break has been useful to you as well. It's always good to know different ways of debugging stuff and stopping things to have a look what's going on. Is it possible, Robert's asking, is it possible to not have the local newer version installed, or do you have to manually remove it in your new directory? I think you can actually install specific versions. So I think when you do an npm install, and I think did we talk about this or see this sort of indirectly in that episode 1? When you do an npm install package name, that will default to this other sort of suffix, which is at latest, which points to the latest version, which is in this case 3.7.1. But you can actually say npm install package name at version. So you could say npm install SAP CDS at 3.5.2. So maybe you could do it that way. Everybody Twitter account, exclamation mark project. I'm not sure what that means, but welcome everybody Twitter account. I'm not sure who you are, but that doesn't matter either. So hello, that's great. So a couple of cool things I wanted to show you before we started to look at the UI at the front end. let's go. Let's start. Let's go into where were we? We were in our Northbreeze. There we go. And let's open code. Oops. Oh, that's quite cool. I was going to say I've done it wrong. I meant to put the dot to say code open the current directory, but code will by default open that directory. That's quite cool. That's good to know. And this is where we left off. Okay, so we've got here. I think last time I didn't have this Git initialized, but I've got it initialized now just so I can see what's going on and what I've changed and everything. So where we ended up was with a service, Northbreeze, with a main sort of breezy service exposing the product suppliers and categories, and I think we experimented with this restricted service just to show that we could have a second service. One thing I came across, and talking of not documented or not documented yet in this case, although it might be, if anybody can find it, that would be really cool. Make that like that as well so I can see. One thing that we haven't talked about in terms of the OData service is how you would define a function import. Okay, so one of the aspects of an OData service beyond the regular, predictable, dare I say, beautiful, clean sort of entity set oriented approach, which is sort of where you have the operations like get, put, post, and delete, or rather create, read, update, delete, and query. You have this sort of orthogonal feature with OData, which is a function import, which is a little bit like, XML RPC. It's a little bit like an RPC call, remote procedure call. It's really, really, in my opinion, quite ugly. And it's like a wart on the otherwise beautiful face of OData. Did I say that on the live stream? I did. But I do think that. But it does help us out in some circumstances where either the thing that you're trying to expose, the action or activity or data or function you're trying to expose through the OData service doesn't fit quite nicely enough into an entity or entity relation approach. And you just want to say, bang, I want to do this. I want to get that. Rather than sort of, engineer a little bit of an over-the-top scenario with the data model. So I thought it'd be worth having a quick look as to how we would define a function import. It's really, really simple. One of the things that did we look at, let me know on the chat, did we look at this? One of the things we looked at, I think, was adding a server or a service implementation. Did we do that? My memory's crazy. But I'm pretty sure we did a service implementation. Maybe it wasn't in this Northbreeze project, but it was on another test project. Because we'll have to create a little service implementation JavaScript file for this function import as well. In fact, why don't we do this? Let's go and open up the Explorer here. I'm going to do this all sort of through code. I'm going to open up the server folder and create a new file called service.js. Okay. Now, convention over configuration. If you have a service file, a CDS service file called, in our case, service.cds, super exciting original name. If you have a file of the same base name, service, but with .js on the end, and you put it in the same folder as the CDS service definition file, then what CAP will do is take that file and use it to enhance or override the actual service implementation that it provides for free out of the box otherwise for that service you've defined. And you can define that service using a normal sort of JavaScript modular way. So if we say module.exports, and then if we have serve, so that because this is just a capture. So basically, we're just defining here in JavaScript
the module.exports property, the exports property of the module object, which is the standard way of sort of defining what gets exported from this file if it was treated as a loadable, a requirable module or package. It exports a single function, and we're sort of, exporting a single anonymous Lambda function that takes a single argument, SRV. We're going to capture it in the parameter SRV, which is short for service. And the implementation of that function is in this little block here, introduced by the curly braces. So why don't we say here, first of all, just to start going, console.log in service implementation. There we go. Serve. Save that. All I've done, literally, I've not done anything to the service.cds. I've just added the service.js. I'm going to run this now. CDS run. And again, I'm going to use the mouse here because I hate this keyboard. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, so in fact, let's make that big. Scroll up. Gosh, there's a lot of information here. There we go. In service implementation. Service, and then you get the whole sort of service object written out for us. We're not going to look too much at that, although some of that we did play around with when we started looking at the REPL, didn't we? So we can see here that automatically the CAP engine in the form of the SAP CDS infrastructure is glued together and recognized this service.js. And in fact, it's said here as well, look, serving Breezy at Breezy implementation is also provided in the service.js file, and also serving restricted at /restricted. The implementation is also in service.js. So why don't we just change that to, let me know, by the way, if I'm telling you stuff we've already covered, let me know in the chat. In service implementation, serve.name, okay? So I'm just going to print out the server name and then run that again. And notice that it gets called for each service. For the Breezy service, which is, of course, this one, and we've got the restricted service down here, and it gets called for that as well, okay? So we can say, for example, we can have different hooks before, on, and after for each of those services if we wanted to, or only one of the services. Let's do that really simply first of all with an if then else, because we can see what we're doing then. We can make it a little bit neater maybe next time. If serve.name is Breezy, okay, then let's get rid of that. Serve.before, before a read on, what are we serving here? Oh, products, of course, yeah. Before I read on products, run this function here. So let's have x and then console.log x. There we go. That should do it. So now, if we run that, we go here, and let me put that across to the right, and go to products. There we go. So we've requested the products entity set, and over here we of course have hit this console.log, and we can see all sorts of stuff, which is basically the thing that gets passed. Well, why don't we have a look at that? Let's breakpoint that. Okay, so we'll breakpoint that console.log. We'll restart this in debug mode. Okay, I'm going to refresh that. Am I in the debug console there? There we go. We can get to the debug console. I'll refresh that, and we're here. So now we can go to the debug console and have a look what's in X. X is basically a ton of stuff that gives us the run, the statements, the target, the user. In this case, it's anonymous and everything. So we could do all sorts of different things here. We're not going to look into that. What we're going to do, now we've got the sort of the infrastructure, very, very simple infrastructure. That's the too highfalutin a word. We've got the structure to be able to provide our function import. Because function import implementations are also in these sort of JS paired JS files. So let's just break out of that. Let's just Control-C that, for example, and now start to define our function. So if I remember rightly, we can just go up here and say function hello. Now I've got this written down somewhere. It's not documented. I've got this written down. I did want to do. Oh yes, there we go. There we go. Function hello, and it takes who we want to say hello to. It takes a. This is how you define your function import parameters. What it takes and what it returns. Okay, so that looks really weird, doesn't it? It looks like a JavaScript function definition, but it's actually some part of the CDS language with which we can define this function. So now we can say in our service here, we can say, oops, yikes. What happened there? I really dislike this keyboard. I know a bad workman always blames their tools, but anyway, we can say serve.on, and we've defined this function as hello. So we can say serve on hello, and we can have a function. Okay, so why don't we do this? Console.log x, and we'll save that, and we'll break on that too. I'll use the F9 to put a breakpoint there. And let's run that in debug mode. I realize the time's gone really quickly. Okay, so now if we say Breezy hello, oh there we go, to DJ, what do we get here? We get a similar object with our reply, all sorts of different things. Our query, we get our data as well. So what was passed to DJ. So we can reply with that. So if let's cancel that and say here, in fact, let's do it in one line. In fact, %, oh, look at that. Yeah, there we go. Let's do a template literal. Where's my backtick? Hello there, request.data. Let's change that to, sorry, x.data.to. Is that right? That should be right. Exclamation mark there because it's a nice greeting. Save that. Let's run that now. Let's just run that in normal mode. CDS run. Amazing. Hello there, DJ. So that's a way of doing a function. You can define function imports on your OData service that's provided by the application programming model in a really simple way. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring this stream to an end, unfortunately, because we've got to start the code jam. And it's starting in less than 15 minutes. We've got to prepare, got to get all the stuff out and let the people in the room. So thank you so much for joining. We didn't cover everything I wanted to cover in this one. So let me know in Twitter whether you fancy a midweek live stream to finish off what we were doing today. Thanks, Robert. So I do want to cover starting to build the UI. I've got some really nice examples of how we can do that. And it's all served by the CDS engine as well, which is really nice. So I hope you enjoyed that, and our special guests, Riley and Maxi and Marius, they're going to be joining me on the Code Jam with all the awesome people that are here today to learn about that. So thanks so much for joining. It really makes my day. I really do look forward to this, honestly. And I'll see you. Hey, Volker, I'll see you tonight. Brilliant. And thanks, Srikanth. Thanks, Helmut. Thanks, Napheet. Thanks, Flavio. Yeah, and I'll see you next time. Let me know on Twitch, Twitter. Yeah, come in. That's okay. They're all coming in now. Whether you want to see a midweek live stream next week. Okay, and I'm going to switch to OBS and stop stream. Thanks very much, and see you soon. Bye.